When we talk about the Middle Ages, we're covering 1,000 years, from the fall of Imperial Rome around 500 AD through to the dawn of modern Europe in the 1500s. It was a long, complex era, but also, as some writers have called it, one of the doggiest periods in history. Hunting and hawking were hugely popular among the nobility, and dogs were at the very heart of it. But they weren't just working animals. Despite what some accounts suggest, dogs were also companions. Greyhounds and spaniels are recorded sleeping on people's beds, and ladies often kept lapdogs. On tombs you can still see carvings of these tiny dogs, sometimes with collars and even little bells. One story goes that a lapdog's real duty was to warn its mistress and her lover if her husband came home unexpectedly. At the Duke of Berry's court, etiquette said you shouldn't stroke a dog or cat while eating at table, but the reality was quite different. In the famous Très Riche Heure of about 1416, there are little dogs sitting right on the table, while a servant feeds a greyhound at the Duke's side. The Duke was known as a great animal lover. He even gave money to feed a faithful dog that refused to leave its master's grave, so that the dog could stay there for the rest of its life. Dogs often turned up in church too, which caused problems. They barked during services, sometimes even tore up books. Monks and nuns kept dogs, cats and birds, though they were asked not to bring too many into the chapels. Eventually, dog whippers were employed to keep parishioners' dogs out of church altogether. There are fascinating stories too. In France, around 1250, a greyhound that had been unjustly killed was venerated as a saint and protector of children. But in time, the church removed the shrine. In the hierarchy of dogs, greyhounds and running hounds, sometimes called rache, were considered the aristocrats. They were used in stag hunting alongside allants, harthounds and harriers. Each had its role. Allants, for example, were big, muscular dogs with cropped ears and short muzzles. The finer ones hunted, while the coarser types guarded property, herded cattle, and were even used in bull baiting. Working people relied on mongrel curs for guarding goods. Terriers were around, chasing foxes, though they weren't often written about, since chroniclers were more focused on edible game. Spaniels, however, had a strong presence. They were used for hawking, less demanding than stag hunting. Early spaniels were bigger than today's, with long legs, wavy coats, and natural tails. White or tawny, sometimes speckled, they retrieved birds and flush game. Gaston, Comte de Foix, praised their loyalty, though he admitted they could be a bit unruly during hunts. The wealthy took kennel management seriously. Gaston de Foix left detailed accounts. Dogs had fresh water twice a day, and when sick they were fed goat's milk, bean broth, chopped meat, or buttered eggs. Kennel boys even slept with the dogs at night to stop fights breaking out. Feeding schedules varied. In winter, dogs might be given one meal at sunset to keep them ready for the morning hunt. In spring and summer, smaller portions were given more often. Beef in soup with bread and milk was common, served warm or cold. When we look at these images from the Middle Ages, it's striking just how close dogs and humans have always been. Whether hunting, guarding, or curled up on a bed, dogs were cherished companions, as much a part of daily life then as they are today. Thank you so much for joining me again, and I hope that if you haven't already done so, you'll subscribe to the channel so that you can keep informed of anything new that I put up. Thanks again. Bye.